If you're like most mission-driven professionals that I know, your relationship to work and your career have changed since the pandemic began. I'm Jen Walker-Wall, career strategist, resume writer, and founder of WorkWonders Careers. This season, we're talking to mission-driven professionals to hear how their relationship to work, careers, and ambition have changed over the past couple of years. I hope you'll join us. Welcome to Reimagining Ambition. Welcome back to Reimagining Ambition. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. You see, the origins of today's episode started in my interview with Olivia Montgomery, a social worker who was working in healthcare during the early months of the pandemic. We were discussing the low morale she was experiencing along with one of her colleagues, and the gesture that seemed to cause more harm than good.
People had left before me, like there was a big turnover rate. As far as how the organization responded, it was a lot of platitudes. It was a lot, which I'm sure everywhere was super similar, where they were like, we stand with you. We appreciate you so much. Here's a $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card once every 6 months or something. There was a part of me that was like, put that $5 in my next paycheck, please. Like, if you're going to give me something, just do that.
She went on to share that her partner, a tech worker, also received an interesting appreciation gift.
There were so many other things like that. My partner, he works in tech, and he got a couple of like baskets of pears, like really fancy pears, like once a month for like 4 months. And at the end of it, we were like, these are too many. These are too many pears. What are we doing with all these pears? I guess we appreciated it. We needed the vitamins because it was like in the middle of winter 2020. But it was just, we were like, what is this? This is so bizarre.
She then went on to share another gift that she received from her employer that also sort of missed the mark.
One of my favorite memories is they gave us gift cards to the store. There was like a gift shop kind of thing through the company I worked at. And they gave us gift cards to the store. Even better kicker is I identify as a fat person. I'm a larger bodied person. And none of their sizes for women went above a large. So I was like, getting that umbrella, getting that towel.
I can appreciate that fruit baskets and coffee and gift cards are nice gestures. But given how profoundly people were struggling with isolation, with childcare, with burnout, with fears around public health and elections, I could also see how these traditional, nominal employee appreciation gifts were damaging. I was curious if other people were receiving these kinds of gifts and how they were landing with people. So I took my question to one of the greatest town squares available to gather some additional information. Yes, I'm talking about TikTok. What employee appreciation gift did you receive from your employer since the start of the pandemic? It was so silly, so trivial, so fundamentally unhelpful that it made your resentment and stress worse. This came up in a podcast episode today, and I'm curious if anyone else has experienced an almost insulting employee appreciation gift. Did the results start pouring in? I knew I'd have to share the results with all of you as part of this series. I will link to the videos in the show notes so that you can read the comments yourself and watch the videos yourself. There's several of them. But I just want to share a snippet of some of the gifts that I heard. A kind bar with a note reminding staff to be kind. Off-brand candy. Off-brand candy and expired candy came up a lot, actually. That was frequently mentioned throughout the videos, and you'll see that if you check the comments. A box of dominoes, the game, which seems especially strange and cruel considering it felt like we were living in a game of dominoes. And of course, there were company-branded notebooks, blankets, apparel, the whole 9 yards there. Someone received a pin that read, "Heroes work here," bubbles, and frisbee, a stress ball, honey-baked hams. That was a whole thing too. I had no idea how common it was to gift hams. Another gift was Omaha steaks. A vegan reported this one. A toy truck, a paint by numbers kit, $5 gift cards for fast food, coffee, Target, a single piece of fruit for each employee. Someone received a $30 gift card to the Texas Roadhouse, the closest one being 2 hours away. A jar of salsa from 2019. Company branded or personalized masks. Reward points for retail workers. A pack of extra gum to acknowledge that they were extra. A folding beach chair with the company logo. Swedish fish with a note that said, "Just keep swimming." A rock with a note that said, "You're our rock." These last two, in my opinion, two of the worst gifts. And they were overwhelmingly shared by healthcare workers and educators, people who had pretty challenging jobs over the last few years. There were also pizza parties with a 2-slice limit and hours that didn't actually accommodate anyone's lunch. There were free jeans days, so people got a pass from having to donate in order to wear jeans to work, and other obligatory potlucks and group activities. These employee gift anecdotes range from horrifying to mind-boggling to even a little bit funny, but they really tell a much bigger story to me. Generosity is great. Gifts are fine. And I want to acknowledge that some of these gifts probably came from managers and supervisors spending their own limited income to try and acknowledge and appreciate their team members. And I get that. But there's something so profound about receiving gifts that are so thoughtless, so valueless when people are looking for safety, when people are looking for proper and fair compensation, when people are looking for flexibility and support, when people are experiencing risks to their own health and well-being just by executing their job. And these are the sorts of things that they got instead. 2020 was a really hard year, and I can appreciate wanting to acknowledge in some way what people are going through. But I really can't imagine looking at an exhausted, stressed out, overwhelmed population and thinking that gum or candy or honey baked ham would be the right remedy. So it's not surprising to me that in the months that followed, a lot of people decided they were ready to make a move. So I'm curious, did you receive an employee appreciation gift in the early months of the pandemic? Or did you happen to receive a raise? Find me over on Instagram at Reimagining Ambition and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me this week on Reimagining Ambition. Hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast so you don't miss a single episode. If you'd like to help us share these stories with even more mission-driven listeners, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. And if you stumbled onto Reimagining Ambition because you're ready to explore what's possible for your career and you love practical career exploration, job search, and resume advice, please check out our private community podcast, Off the Clock. It's only available to folks who sign up, so join us at www.workwonderscareers.com/podcast to learn more. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Check out the show notes for links to those accounts. See you next week.